Hello, and today we're going to talk about a very important concept when you're playing like ball comps or any sort of dive comp against a brawl comp. And we're going to take a look at Dragons' role of the rain, like in the finals on King's Row during their attack phase. And we're going to see like how their positioning decisions really help them just break this comp very easily. And how like using positioning, they just stopped Rain from doing anything significant. So let's take a look, and we're gonna like look not only at how Fate and Fleta are positioning, but also how the backline is positioning, and how Void really pushes his aggression as much as possible without being punished. And we're also gonna look at how like the backline contribute to both Void and Fate and Fleta's job in the backline. So right here. So dragons, one really important thing is when you're playing like on First Point King's Row, you want to utilize the space that the Brawl comp cannot use. And in this case, the Brawl comp is going to hold around here. They might back up to here, but that's the maximum extent of the space they control. If they go like anywhere here, like they can, but suddenly things become a lot more open, there's less cover, and especially when you have like multiple sources of range poke, then it's gonna be really hard for the Brawl team to stay here for a long time. And this high ground, don't even like forget about it. If you're a Brawl team, sure you could try to like run them down as they're trying to rotate, but this is gonna be difficult because of the long distances. Second, like for example, Lip is going Widow here for a reason, because if Rain wants to like rush this is actually really smart from Dragons. Like it's genius, but if Rain decides to like rush down Dragons right now, like as they're rotating, well, Lip just pops the backline's head or like Kai's head off, and suddenly everything just becomes good for Dragons. So this is actually a really good play from Dragons to secure this rotation. And it is important to still like present a threat during rotations, because rotations are going to be your most like where the enemy can attack you the most. So you must still present a threat when your team's rotating. In this case, it's gonna be the Widow, but in most other cases, it's gonna be like your Ball and Tracer applying soft pressure as like to the route that allows them that to attack your rotation. So in this case, maybe Fate and Fleta can take positions here early, so that if Rain like decide to like just rush down along this path, then at least Fate and Fleta can look to punish Iris or Kai for while they're rotating. But in this case, they want some extra insurance. That's why they're just going Widow instead of just having Fate and Fleta take positions early. And it also allows them to not get poked out that easily, which is important when you're running Bap Zen and not something like Brig Zen, for example, because Bap can't really heal you out that well if you're a flanker. And Zen healing is really limited when it comes to like Ball, for example. So saving HP and also still securing this rotation. That's what Lip's Widow pick is for. It might not be the intention, but actually, like, really good, considering that they could probably maybe rush down. Dragons are trying to rotate. It's really hard. It's gonna rely on them, like, positioning forward at first, but that just kills the idea. So that's good. As you can see, now they're taking the high ground. And when you're playing, like, a ball comp against a brawl comp, you want to, like, do this. Like, you want to do this one thing. You want to be positioning in flanks, high grounds, that allow you to limit their movement. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're not taking, like, high ground or you're not taking aggressive enough angles, then they're just going to be able to run down your backline, and there's no consequence because you have nobody to really punish or trade or look to harass them during the rotation. Like, you just want to be on the flanks, and if they decide to run your backline down, you can just ambush them. Like, you can just, like, have your Ball and Tracer just look for a pick or look to at least force out a cooldown. And if you force out a cooldown or at least force them to turn towards the Ball and Tracer, that's going to slow them down enough for your backline to kite or, like, for your backline to get kills while, like, they're in the open. Like you want to like really guard the open areas. You want to like guard the open areas. For example, on this map, you want to take control of this area and this area at least, so that if they go in, not only will like they not be able to move because there's going to be a lot of players shooting at them plus ball tracer, but also because if they're stuck there, then they're just going to die. They're in the open. Like, ironically, you want to be controlling the open spaces when you're, like, on dive against a Brawl comp. Like, the Brawl comp excels at close spaces. Forget about really challenging the the Brawl comp in close spaces until you have, like, an advantage. But if you control the open spaces, you can just restrict their movement severely, and that unlocks a lot of positions that might seem unsafe. For example, normally if you're just playing double shield, then if you stand like right here, a Sigma for example, or right here, like take this off angle, then rushing down the end, like you're gonna get rushed down probably because double shield isn't really good at controlling that space as much as a ball comp. But the ball comp with the Zen with the ball tracer excels at it. If they even like walk through, let's say they have Lip here, and like let's say they have Fleta somewhere behind. Well, if they even like dare to walk into here, well, that's already like very hazardous. So like that would allow like Void to like stand in here safely, knowing that if Rain wants to like rush down Void, it's gonna be very expensive. They have to like clear the flankers first at least before, and that's hard because clearing ball tracer with a Brawl comp that doesn't have that much mobility, that's gonna be really difficult. So we're gonna slow things down a bit, and as you can see, we have some initial positions. Void's rotating to the high ground. They're gonna play this patiently because they don't really need to force anything because they're Brawl. Like, they can't suddenly appear in your backline in like 2 seconds. So as you can see, with the amount of space that Dragon's now controlling, including the point now, because Void's in this power position, just spamming left clicks at the enemy, they can't stand here anymore because Void's gonna be spamming them, Izuyaki's gonna be spamming them, Li Zhenggan's gonna be spamming them, and Lip's going to just like contribute to the damage as well, while like Fade and Fleta are just there to finish off any enemy that is at 1 HP. So like it's now, like, as you can see, look at how dragons are restricting their movement by just taking the high ground. They can't go here. If they go here, one of them will die eventually. So, like, they have to play over here. And this severely limits their options to attack. They can't really attack anymore in this phase because anywhere they go is just going to be spam and ball tracer literally hunting you if you ever make a mistake. So, right here, dragons, they've, for all intents and purposes, already won this fight. Because Rain didn't do anything early into the fight where the dragons aren't that strong. Like, dragons aren't that strong if they're still rotating, but in this case, this is just a matter of time. And we're gonna actually see Rain try to rush down Void by rotating this way, but that just like results in a pick off for dragons, and that allows them to just eventually win the fight. So right here, they have space control, but they can't really just stand there. They have to like pose a threat to point, otherwise maybe Rain would just hide in a hotel, and that's gonna be hard to hit. So like right here, Void's not afraid. Void's dropping and trying to do damage and bait Rain in. And why can he do that despite being so low HP and almost having a cracked shield? Well, let's say Rain decide to rush Void here. Well, look at what we're going to be subjected to. Like, Fleta's dueling Pelican here, but Fleta could just escape this. Could just try, like, escape dueling Pelican, get the orb, and then, like, try to go on Iris or go on Kai as they're trying to, like, go into a position where they can actually be useful. Or, even without, like, Fleta, as you can see, Zen's gonna do a lot of damage, Bap's gonna, like, spam them down a lot. Void can just kite back, like, a bit before, like, Rain can actually reach them. But even if they reach Void, like, let's say you're here and you're looking around, there's literally dragons' players are all around you. You have Lip shooting you at an angle, you have Bap Zen, you have, like, the Fleta being able to follow up on any targets that Lip Lip got low, or like this backline got low, or Void got low, and it's just gonna be horrible if you try to rush this. So Rain, they can't rush this. Like, look, Gator's discorded. He takes like 300 damage, more so than like he's already critical. So right here, let's take a look at what happens. Let's take a look at what Rain decide to do. Like, they can't just stand there forever. Void's gonna be capping ticks. So right here, Rain are trying to kind of outmaneuver Dragons' position here, and they're trying to potentially threaten Void through this direction. But as you can see, first, Dragons are rotating. Like, Fate is rotating to try to get into the position where he can attack this rotation, and like, holding the positions is fine and all, but you also need to be providing pressure as well. Like, you also need to look to maybe as ball you want to roll through, or look to even slam if you see an opportunity. But you just want to attack the rotation so that they're just lingering in open space trying to peel you off. But like, they're all in the open, which allows your team and Trace, and like also like Tracer from behind, to just get a target, like, just easily, because if you're in the open, inevitably like one person's gonna be 1 HP. Ball Tracer, just swoop in to finish the kill. That's what Ball Tracer is for that comp, other than Space Control. It's for confirming kills, like confirming targets. That's why you see. That's why like these types of comps, like Ball Tracer comps, they're better than like Double Shield, because Double Shield can't really confirm kills, but Ball Tracer comps, they absolutely can, like, and very well. So it's like, to put it another way, playing Ball Tracer properly is like literally like almost like removing half the HP from the enemy squishies, because if they just, let's say your Ashe gets a kill, like not a kill, but your Ashe gets someone low, well, you just confirm the kill with your Ball Tracer. It's easy. That's what they're designed for. So like, Rain are almost like they're playing at like half HP because of like the presence of Ball Tracer. If anyone like gets low, then either they die because Ball Tracer just swoop in, or they have to use a lot of valuable cooldowns, which is also really good because Rain's comp is very cooldown dependent. If you have no cooldowns, you can't fight. So right here, as you can see, they're trying to rotate to find a better angle to like threaten the backline potentially, as well as Void. It looked like they're going for Void, but they might just be trying to rush the backline. But see what happens? See what happens when you try to do that? Like, Lip even dies, but Lip was probably playing and like, at least they do get something out of that rotation. But it's not gonna be for free. It's not gonna be like a free kill. Well, okay, let's actually see what Lip like could have done here. I think Lip should have probably backed up a bit. But oh well. Anyways. So right here, you can see Lip dies, but doesn't matter. Diva's away. Diva's away from the fight, which means that there's one more angle that Rain can't really cover. And more importantly, look at where they are. They're pretty much in the open. Well, Void's pushing back up again because they know that like, Dragons know that they've used their cooldowns, they've used like boosters, and Void can't really get rushed down here, because imagine trying to rush down while there's literally a Bap and Zen on the right side. There's no more Diva to cover. That's why having no boosters really matters here for Rain. But as you can see, also Fade and Fleta, they're in really good positions to punish if they try to run down Void here. So Void is just gonna push back. As you can see, he's pushing his limits. He could even go a bit farther and he wouldn't be punished, because this is still like gonna be even a shorter rotation's going to subject them to a lot of damage. So as you can see, they use Immor because, let's take a look. Fate does get low here. Let's take a look at Fate. So like, Fate gets stunned, but in the process, Iris gets low. This is critical. And as you can see, Fleta's there to like confirm the kill. Like this is the benefit of the ball comp. Fleta's there to confirm the kill. So Iris has no choice other than to use Immor. And that's already one major cooldown for Stone. Generally, without Immor, then if Dragon stabilize properly, then they can just like force a kill because you know you can Discord and then Ball and Tracer just swoop in, confirm the kill while like Ash and Bap just try to like shoot Iris. So it's gonna be like bad for Rain eventually if they just use Immor right now. And Iris, you can see he still dies because, as I said before, dragons are attacking them while they're in the open. So there's literally no cover. If they try to use their cooldowns to try to survive, well, doesn't change the fact they're in the open. And if they want to move to a more closed area, well, that's another rotation that dragons can look to exploit. They're gonna be moving in the open. So like even after using cooldowns, Iris still dies. And did Iris make a mistake here? You can see. You can see, like, his team wants to move. Like, his team wants to move to a more closed space. So Iris kind of needs to do that. Otherwise, he's just going to die, like, anyways. But, you see? You can't. Because dragons are doing such a good job of attacking them more than the open. So Iris, they can't move anymore. They're restricting their movement. Rain are now, like, hopeless. Like, even after getting a pick on Lip, they're hopeless because dragons have so much control over this, like, the space, and dragons have just baited them into the open that, like, anywhere Rain try to move is just death. And we saw that. Like, we saw that with Iris. And right here, you can see Void's trying to kite back. Gator and Pelican are trying to rush down Void, but take a look at this. When Void's in a bit of danger, Fleta just swoops in and completely distracts them and threatens Gator, and Gator has to turn back. So like, even though Void was playing very forward, why not? Because like if Rain try to move anywhere, they're just going to die. And this is another example. This is like a great example. Like Void just gets off scot-free. Doesn't even have to use shield or like just have to use like a grasp and like let's see. And like I don't think like that rock was for that. But as you can see, dragons are doing such a good job of controlling the space. And right here, now that Rain are low on cooldowns and low on resources, dragons know that even without Fate alive, like Fate kind of fed there, but even without Fate alive, so what? If like rush them Void down with what? You already tried. You failed. You have to stabilize. But that just means dragons start capping ticks. And also, eventually, you can see like Pelican's trying to do a last ditch play, but like eventually dragons also get their ults and like they try like dealing with Void again. Like Void's like living rent free. You see Hawk's trying to like rush down Void, but look at how much damage he receives. Like he's literally going into an area surrounded by dragons as players. And he just gets punished. Like, they kill Lip again. Does it really matter, though? No. And the window does a lot of damage. Controls point. And eventually, Rain just fall. But I just wanted to make this short video to illustrate a very important concept with the Dive versus Brawl matchup. And it's the principle of using positions to prevent them from moving, to prevent them from rotating, holding the open areas of the map that you're using, so that if they try to like run you down, not only are they gonna get punished, but or like you know you're gonna be able to stop them from advancing, but you're also gonna like bait them into the open. So like you're trying to bait them as well, so that so that, you can get kills really easily if they're careless. And many Brawl teams, they kind of have to do something because like they have to do something in this case because otherwise Void's just gonna stay on point, do a lot of poke damage, while Izayaki and Lee Gon and Lip, they're just gonna do like also like a shit ton of damage and force out a shit ton of cooldowns by default. So like Rain have to do something to end the fight. If the fight goes on forever, well, guess who's gonna win? The team with a way superior poke. But in this case, dragons are doing the right thing. They're using their positioning to stop them from even doing that in the first place. And when you do that, the Brawl team is just completely countered. The Brawl team is now just weaker than Dragons' dive team. So, anyways, I hope that was helpful. Master this concept, it'll make playing against Brawl a lot more easier. Anyways, peace out.